In April, I went to Scotland to walk the Cape Wrath Trail. Unfortunately, it didn't work out well for me. I suffered a heavy fall on snow just a few days into the hike, and now I'm back home in London recovering from a knee injury. But the walk across the rough bounce of Knoydart gave me some of the best mountain days of my life, and I did my best to film my progress. So this is the story of my Cape Wrath fail. My hike didn't get off to the best start. A 3-hour delay on the sleeper train into Fort William. But the journey was spectacular, so when I arrived at my starting point, Inverskadel Bay, I felt more than up for the challenge.
Unfortunately, it's a bit late in the day now, so I suspect I'll be getting to Glenfinnan after sunset. So with all good speed, I'm going to have to set off over some hills and hopefully make it before it's too dark. So the adventure begins.
Connacht Glen is a spectacular introduction to the hike, which crosses the Cape Wrath Trail's first Bearlach, or mountain pass, between Sgurr Cruvachurlin and Mael Nandath, directly west of Fort William. It's a long walk along mostly clear paths, so I arrived at Glenfinnan with dry boots but tired feet, ready for my walk into Knoydart. I set off from Glenfinnan railway station knowing day 2 would be tough, only around 20 kilometres, but over increasingly rough terrain. It started with a sight made famous in Hollywood. The Glenfinnan viaduct featured in the Harry Potter films, and even today, well outside the main tourist season, I've seen lots of people from all over the world standing on the hillside just looking at the viaduct. And it is a stupendous, phenomenal piece of engineering. A privilege, I guess, to walk under it. Beyond the forestry works at the open end of Glenfinnan, the trail reaches its first bothy at Corryhully, one of the few mountain shelters in Scotland with its own electricity supply. From there it was a steep walk up Glenachurin to pass below the route's first Munro, Sgurr Hulim. At the Bearlach I was rewarded with some of Scotland's finest views, including the snowy peaks of Frochfern and Sgurr Huligan, and a few of the Glen's watchful deer. By now I'd joined a group of other walkers. We pressed across the Altachurin and onto our rest at Achul bothy in remote Glen Dessery. Achul is a superb bothy, maintained by volunteers from the Mountain Bothies Association. I spoke to Bob Howe, an MBA volunteer, about his work keeping the place ready for whoever needs it.
I suppose it's something to do with, you feel you're putting something back into the country, I've enjoyed all my life. I've been enjoyed being in wild places like this, running and walking, and by maintaining the bothy, you're giving other people the opportunity to do the same, which I think is quite nice. It gives you a sense of well-being, and I don't know. It's when people say, "Oh, it's a lovely bothy." It's really pleasing, which it is.
We shared the bothy with 9 other walkers and a husky. A bit crowded, but the atmosphere was brilliant, the food was good, and the whisky was excellent. And we got some work done.
We spent the evenings solving the world's problems. This morning we solved Brexit, didn't we? Stood here after breakfast. We've solved Brexit.
Somebody needs to tell Theresa May.
Yes, we should get Theresa up here. That would be an idea.
The next day saw some truly awful weather as I walked onto Surly's bothy. Unfortunately, the boggy conditions and slippery rocks weren't friendly to me.
A couple of falls so far today. I've really wrenched my shoulder. It's not feeling good at all. So I just need to suck it up, press on for the next 16 kilometres to Barrisdale, and just chill, hopefully recover, ready for the next day.
Barrisdale lay beyond a river crossing and a very steep climb to a path through Glen Underlin. I arrived after nightfall, but the next day I felt ready for more challenges. The walk from Barrisdale offered spectacular views of Loch Horn, a sea loch surrounded by steep hills and woodland. I found myself wishing I'd spent the night camping by the shore, or close to one of the trail's remote farmhouses. Unfortunately, between Kinlochhorn and Shield Bridge, I fell on snow at the Bearlach Corrymalligan and had a tough walk down to the old military road. I spent a couple of days recovering at the youth hostel in Rattigan beside Loch Durk, looking out on the spectacular Five Sisters of Kintail. I'm not done with the Cape Wrath Trail, and I don't think it's done with me. Hopefully this story is only a taste of what's to come.